Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to the Service Dog channel. Today I'm going to teach you about the Service Dog Public Access Test. I'll share a combination of my experiences with public access testing standards and criteria for some organizations. The Service Dog Public Access Test is a crucial tool for service dog teams to ensure they can function effectively in public settings. While it's optional, not mandatory, it's an important step in maintaining the trust and integrity of service dog teams. There are multiple organizations that provide testing, and their guidelines can be a valuable training tool. There are a lot of misconceptions about service dogs and the challenges that teams face in public spaces. One of the biggest challenges is access issues, being denied access to businesses, restaurants, and other public areas because of misconceptions about service dogs. Another challenge is behavioral expectations, people thinking that service dogs should be perfectly behaved at all times, which simply is not realistic. Unfortunately, when a service dog misbehaves, it's often used as ammunition to doubt the legitimacy of the team. I've seen it happen where a team is embarrassed because their dog wasn't under control for a moment, and people assume they were faking it, and that's just not right. We've all seen it, a dog causing a scene and people whispering, "That's not a real service dog." But the truth is, even with intensive training, service dogs are still dogs, and they can have bad days just like humans do. Sometimes they're lacking in public access training, but they're still, by definition, service dogs. Those would be dogs trained to do work directly related to their handler's disability. It's embarrassing for the handler when the dog misbehaves. It can be incredibly frustrating when people assume the dog's fake, and these incidents can overshadow the hard work and dedication of legitimate service dog teams. Service dogs are not pets. They're highly trained animals that perform specific tasks to assist their handlers. They require a high level of obedience, focus, and temperament to work effectively in public. It's not just about being well behaved, it's about being able to perform critical tasks in high-stress situations. There are organizations that have specific standards for service dog behavior and created their own public access tests. If a dog passes the public access test given by one of their approved testers, then the dog is entitled to a certification card or ID from that organization. All this does is tell people that your dog is certified by that particular organization. That place is willing to let you put their name on a patch on your dog, but their private certification is not an official requirement by law, nor does it grant any special access rights. Assistance Dogs International, ADI, is a very reputable organization and seems to have some credibility within the United States court system regarding service dog lawsuits. Their standards have been referenced and cited in courts, alluding to the credibility of the standards they set forth. They've established their own standards and testing process. Another organization, the International Association of Assistance Dog Partners, IAADP, is a service dog advocacy organization that recommends the Psychiatric Service Dog Partners Public Access Test. This test is stricter than the ADI test. IAADP's goal is to influence state, federal, and international policy by advocating to preserve and expand public access rights. They also want to participate in public policy rulemaking and case law at state and federal levels and promote a minimum training standard, but they're against making mandatory nationwide standards. The test IAADP recommends is the one created and administered by Psychiatric Service Dog Partners, PSDP. Their mission is to promote the mental health of people using service dogs for psychiatric disabilities. They want to educate, advocate, provide expertise, facilitate peer support, and promote responsible service dog training and handling. PSDP does not provide dogs, train them, or certify them. Their website is right here. PSDP does not administer the test. It's given by trainers or service dog handlers at their annual Psychiatric Service Dog Convention. It's also possible to take a copy of the test to your local dog trainer and have them administer the test. Trainers and individuals can use their test for free, and nobody gets an official certification for passing it. The public access test is designed to evaluate a service dog team's ability to navigate a variety of scenarios and distractions while maintaining focus and control. The test is comprised of several components, each evaluating a specific task and behaviors that are crucial for public access. Let's break it down. What are the key components and why are they so important? A quick overview of the test includes your service dog's ability to enter and exit vehicles and buildings calmly, ignoring distractions, and responding to basic commands. It determines their ability to walk through a crowded area, navigate tight spaces, and respond to sudden noises or movements. It also tests your dog's ability to handle food and drink distractions, ignore other animals, and respond to commands in the presence of loud noises. Each part of the test simulates real-life scenarios you'd face in public. The test ensures service dogs are stable and well-behaved. It proves that you have control over the dog and you're not a public hazard. Some testers don't allow you to use treats during the test, and some do. Some also will not allow leash corrections or other physical corrections. Dogs should not wear training devices or those that control by causing pain or fear, like prong collars, choke collars, or shock collars. Your service dog shouldn't pull excessively on the leash or try walking away. Behaviors that would cause the test to be aborted right then and there would be things like being out of your control, relieving itself indoors, growling or excessive barking, showing or baring teeth, nipping or biting, or lunging at people or dogs. Now let's take a look at the test in more detail. First, they watch you get in and out of your car. They want to make sure your dog doesn't jump out without being commanded to get out. Once your dog gets out, they want it to stand still calmly waiting for your next command. Some testers want to see that your dog rides calmly in the car and isn't anxious. Mine didn't observe us in a car. In the parking lot, before you enter the store, they'll have somebody walk by you with another dog to test your dog's reaction. They'll get about 6 feet away, and your service dog shouldn't pull or lunge at the other dog. Next, you'll be asked to enter a building. My test was typically at a Target or Walmart that had a little cafe or Starbucks in it, something like that where we could do the restaurant portion of the test. So, as you enter the building, the tester is watching to see if the dog is heeling and to make sure your dog isn't scared of traffic, automatic doors, or those blowers over the doors. When you stop walking, the dog should automatically stop walking as well. After you get in, your dog should maintain a good heel throughout the store within about a foot of you as your disability allows. Your dog should adjust their speed to your speed. My tester would have me walk slowly, then walk as fast as I could to watch for speed changes with my service dog. The dog should slow down or speed up with you. Mine would naturally slow down, but I had a command where I would say, "Hurry, hurry," and she knew that when I said that, she had to go faster. We had to walk through a crowd seamlessly, and my dog was monitored for taking turns alongside me. It wasn't required, but when I turned left, I always told my dog left and pointed slightly to the left, so she knew I was going to suddenly step in front of her really quickly, and she needed to stop and turn left. When I turned right, she just followed me, because she was always on my left side. She had to heel while someone pushed a shopping cart very close to us to make sure she wasn't scared, didn't panic, and maintained her heel. Some red flags that testers look for during this portion of the test would be if your dog seeks attention from people, knocks things off shelves, licks stuff on the shelf, or excessively sniffs people or things unless your dog is trained to detect dangerous allergens for you. Then they have to smell stuff. I always had to place my service dog in a downstay at one end of a shopping aisle and walk to the other end of the aisle while she stayed in place. Then I'd turn around and face her, and she had to remain in place until I called her. Some tests required this to be done at a 6-foot distance while on a lead. I think that would be how I'd start training for this task, but eventually the goal would be to have the dog remain down at longer distances off lead and come when called. They also had me walk alongside her in a heel position, then just drop the leash but continue walking for maybe about 10 or 20 feet with her leash dragging on the floor behind her. When we stopped, I'd say leash, and she'd pick up her leash and hand it to me, but handing me the leash wasn't part of the test. It was just a bonus task that she was trained to do. You'll have to show that your dog can sit, lay down, and stand up on command at multiple points throughout the session. This is exactly what the ADI test says. The first sit will be next to a plate of food placed upon the ground. The dog must not attempt to eat or sniff the food. The individual may correct the dog verbally or physically away from the food, but then the dog must maintain a sit while ignoring the food. The second sit will be executed, and the assistant with the shopping cart will approach within 3 feet of the dog and continue past. The dog should maintain the sit and not show any fear of the shopping cart. If the dog starts to move, the individual may correct the dog to maintain the sit. The last sit will be a sit with a stay as the person walks up behind the team, talks to the person, then pets the dog. The dog must hold its position. You should be able to get your dog to focus on your face when requested to do so and walk past food on the floor while leaving it alone. Some testers will have you get in an elevator, ride it up, and exit. I never had to do this on a test, but we did practice it at the service dog training facility during my placement class. They want to see the dog remain calm in a position you tell them to be in. Some test you on the stairs. The same with this. We practiced it at the school, but didn't do it on the test. They want to make sure the dog isn't going to trip you and make you fall. Some dogs are trained to help pull you up, otherwise there should be no pulling or lagging behind by the dog. Another thing that's on some tests but wasn't on the test I took was using a bathroom stall. Whenever the handicap stall isn't available or there isn't one, you've got to be able to place your dog in a stay command just outside of the stall. Then you can control the dog by grabbing the leash under the door. Your dog should never go under partitions into the next stall, place its head in it, or look at the person in there. I've got to admit, my dog was notorious for this if she came into a small stall with me. She would lay down with her head in the next stall, even if someone was in there. I was constantly apologizing to the person next to me and repositioning her, but they seemed to always think it was funny. Your dog should be able to focus on you while walking around for approximately 1 minute with other dogs randomly walking by. The other dog should be at least 3 feet away and no closer than that. A slight interest in other dogs is okay, but your dog should be under control without greeting, playing with, or being aggressive toward the other dogs or people. One of the most interesting test items was always the loud noise. My tester would follow me around about 5 feet behind me and toss a giant metal pan on the floor right behind us. Talk about a loud surprise. Everyone always looked to see what it was. My dog would simply turn her head to see where the sound was coming from, but didn't skip a beat. They want to make sure your dog doesn't flip out. You'll have to enter a restaurant area and sit at a table. You should make sure that there's no food under the table before you start. For me, we went into a little cafe area in a Target store. Your dog should go under the table if it fits, and if not, it should lay next to you. Your dog can move around a little bit for comfort, but should lay or sit wherever you placed it. This is when you would do a food drop. Unless your dog is trained to sniff for allergens, they shouldn't sniff any food on the floor or on tables. Your dog shouldn't beg for food or bother anyone, and your dog should never be allowed on tables, chairs, or benches at any time. Another test item is your dog being taken by a stranger to prove he can be handled by another person without aggression, excessive stress, or whining. Someone else takes the leash and holds it gently while you move 20 feet away. I was told to go around the corner to the next aisle for a minute and then come back. My service dog just watched that corner intently while I was gone. When I circled around the aisle and came up behind her, she was happy to see me, wagging her tail. The last thing you have to do is exit the building and load the dog back up into your car, but it's just the same thing you did before, but in reverse order. They also judge your team relationship. It's got to be positive and relaxed. Why are these components so crucial? Because they demonstrate you and your dog's ability to function effectively in high-stress situations, maintain your composure, and perform critical tasks without interference. It's not just about being well-behaved. It's about being able to respond in emergencies, navigate complex situations, and provide the necessary support you need. The public access test is a vital tool for service dog teams, ensuring they can function effectively in public settings. It's not about being perfect, it's about being able to maintain focus, composure, and control. By understanding the components of the test and its importance, we can work together to maintain the integrity and effectiveness of service dog teams. If you have any thoughts on the service dog access test or how your public access test went, please leave them in the comments below. I'd be really interested in seeing what your experience was like. And don't forget to check out my other videos for more information on service dogs. Check out my playlist while you do housework, shovel snow, or walk your dog. Subscribe to the Service Dog channel.